What's up, hockey fans? How's it going? David Dwork here with you with another episode of the Odd Man Rush, brought to you by Prize Picks and coming to you live on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. What's up? As I said, I'm David Dwork, the host. I cover the Panthers for local10.com here in South Florida and right here for 5 Reasons Sports as well. And I've got a pretty fun show for you today. Got a lot to get to as the Panthers are just, they're like steamrolling towards the playoffs, right? They are demolishing everything in their path as the playoffs are just a few games away now. It's pretty amazing. This season has flown by, and now we've got just, 7 games left before we get to like the real fun, right? The playoffs. That's what it's all been building towards. Like, no longer is the Panthers franchise one that is hoping to be involved in the playoff race at the end of the season. This is usually when we're all biting our fingernails and wringing our hands and counting the games at hand and doing the math, and no more. That shit is done and over with. The Panthers are now, as we've seen, for the last few years, it's been building, but I mean, they are the class of the NHL right now. They are scoring goals at a pace that hasn't been seen since the 90s. They are exciting to watch. They're a wonderful story off the ice. An amazing group of friends, this really awesome coaching staff, younger guys. They've all recently retired from the NHL. It's just like everything is coming together for the Panthers franchise. And I mean, law of averages, right? Like, it had to happen eventually. So yeah, like, I'm not really thinking of this as like, oh my God, yeah, like they're due. So this is something that's been long overdue. Glad it's here, and let's jump into. Oh, but before I jump into the topics of the show, I do want to mention that we have this amazing guest coming up later today. Antti Mäkinen, one of the best-known Finnish play-by-play guys out there. He's done NHL, and obviously a lot of other hockey as well. He's major follower of Finnish hockey as well. He was on the call of the Panthers Red Wings game that on Sunday, where if you follow me on Twitter, you saw it. The video's there now. He had one of the best calls to hear that I've been able to see in my hockey watching days of that ridiculous Anton Lundell goal, shorthanded, between the legs, no look pass from Barkov. His call was spectacular. I don't know how else to describe it. I've got it pinned on my Twitter page, so go check it out. But Antti's going to join me in a little while. We're going to talk about his call. We're going to talk about the Panthers in Finland. Finnish hockey players. Going to be a great chat, I'm sure. So that'll be coming up soon. But first, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on with the Panthers lately. It seems like every week, it's at least of late, when I come on, it's just, what good have they done now? What records are they breaking? How many pitchers has Jonathan Huberdeau been in this week? It's just kind of been slowly snowballing. First on my list, Sam Reinhart. Everybody talked about the big get from Buffalo being Jack Eichel, right? Like, that was all the attention. Where is he going to go? He's going to Vegas, not staying in Buffalo. But Sam Reinhart has he's been amazing since leaving Buffalo. And for as much focus that has been put on Jack Eichel, and I mean, he's an amazing hockey player, not that his attention isn't deserved, but where's the love for Sam Reinhart? He's right now on a 6-game point streak. He's at 11 points over his last 6 games, 4 goals. 6 of those points are on the power plays. He's become an incredible value to the Panthers power play as Sam Reinhart. More recently, he's been kind of jumping between net front and bumper, which bumper is like the guy right in the middle of the 5-man power play unit, like in between the circles, oftentimes used as kind of an intermediary, quick pass here and forth just to get the feet moving, the defenders, just to open up those passing lanes a little bit more. But I mean, Sam Reinhart, we've seen it. His hands are otherworldly, amazingly soft hands. His hockey IQ is off the charts as well. And he's been great around the net, scoring at great angles, changing the angle of his stick, forehand, backhand. It's a lot of really impressive stuff from Sam Reinhart. And again, this is a guy who's been on the Panthers' third line for most of the season, and it's not a knock. I mean, the Panthers' third line has been really, really good, really consistent. I mean, you talk about Anton Lundell, who we'll talk about a little later. Mason Marchment, who's been this amazing find for the Panthers, averaging nearly a point per game. So yeah, it's not like it's a knock to be on that third line, but he is just added to this. When we talk about the Panthers and we talk about their depth, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, this season about how good they are and why they're so good. And I mean, Sam Reinhart is kind of a perfect encompassment of that, because he's a guy who, they got him at the NHL draft last summer. Bill Zito flipped him in, traded a first-round pick, traded goaltending prospect Evan Levi, who is, looking great for Buffalo and hopefully will be somebody that can help turn that franchise back around for them. So it wasn't like Reinhart came cheap at all, but I wouldn't say he came super expensive, 1 first-round pick. And there were other picks in the trade as well, and Levi, obviously. But I mean, considering the production for Reinhart and the fact that the Panthers have, they're going to have him around for a while. Just add it to the list. Another thing that Bill Zito has done incredibly well. We've been talking a lot lately about like Jonathan Huberdeau. Obviously what he's done has been pretty spectacular, in the Hart Trophy conversation. Aaron Ekblad was talked about a lot. There's a lot of guys that get a lot of attention on the Panthers now that they are finally getting attention, But Sam Reinhart definitely deserves to have that spotlight on him just as much, because, while he may not be getting the points at the same volume that Jonathan Huberdeau is getting. And I mean, look, there's only one guy in the league who's doing that, and that's Connor McDavid, who Jonathan Huberdeau is nipping at his heels. But I mean, Sam Reinhart, he's still over a point per game. He's at 76 points in 72 games. He's closing in on 30 goals. The only player on the Panthers who has more points than Reinhart is Sasha Barkov. So, there's that. So anyway, and just, a lot of this love spreading that we've done on the show, I didn't think that we'd mention Sam Reinhart much. So I want to just make sure that we got to him. We've also been talking a lot lately about the goaltending. Both goalies right now are playing very well. It's been week to week. Well, not with Spencer Knight. Spencer Knight has been very solid since he came back from the AHL. Very consistent. But Sergei Bobrovsky, had a great March, stumbled a little bit at the beginning of April. Now he's rounding back into form as well. So really, I mean, the Panthers goaltending situation is looking pretty solid. Spencer Knight has emerged as this amazingly reliable backup goalie. This month in April, he's 5-0. His goals against is under 2, 1.75. His save percentage is .939. Amazing. Since returning, I talked about how he came back from the AHL, which I guess was early March, right? I think March 7th was the date, if I'm not mistaken, was his first action back. But, either way, early March, he came back from the AHL. Since then, Knight is 9-2-1 with a 2.08 goals against and a .926 save percentage. Those are the kind of numbers that will win you Vezina trophies. Those are the kind of numbers that sustain you through a season, that make you elite. So again, small sample size, and he's 21 years old today, by the way. Happy birthday, Spencer Knight. Have fun on your 21st birthday, although I'm sure that the fun will have to come after the season, because these guys are very super hyper focused. But happy birthday, Spencer. All the best to you, my friend. And then just kind of talking, as I said, like this great goaltending tandem that these guys have had. Going into the playoffs, like what better goaltending tandems are there in the NHL? You think maybe Minnesota, now that they've got Fleury and Talbot's playing well. I mean, the Rangers with Shesterkin, he's on another planet, and Georgiev has been playing better of late. Boston's goaltenders, Swayman and Olmark, have been really good the second half. And I mean, in St. Louis as well, when you've got Jordan Binnington and and Husso, they've both been excellent. So, there's some, but the Panthers are in that conversation right now. Sergei Bobrovsky, was amazing. As I said, he was amazing in March. He was 7-0, stumbled pretty heavily in those 2 games in Jersey and against Toronto, but Knight and the Panthers offense saved him. And now Bob's won his last 3 starts, 1.696 goals against and a .922 save percentage. I like this goalie stats. I feel like can be somewhat indicative. I mean, for us, we're watching every game, so we know that Bob's cheap goals can be frustrating. That, again, those 2 games were rough. Better since. Bob's starting tonight against the Islanders, so we'll see how that goes as well. All right. Man, this show is going by really fast, and I want to make sure that I spend a lot of time with my guest, who is waiting to come on in just a minute. So we will get to Antti Mäkinen in just a second. But first, I want to talk about the show sponsor, and that's Prize Picks. Now, this is the official fantasy partner of 5 Reasons Sports Network. You can get them on prizepicks.com on their website, or you can download their free app as well. Now, this is important. When you sign up for Prize Picks, make sure you use the word 5, F-I-V-E, as the code to get your initial deposit matched up to $100. So if you put in $50, Prize Picks will match it. If you put in $100, Prize Picks will match it. And also, for those wondering, this is completely legal in Florida. Nothing to worry about. You are free to do this. You can play all your favorite NHL players, including the Panthers, NBA, jump on the Heat, MLB, MMA, and more. Anything you need, Prize Picks has got your fantasy options for you. And like I said, just make sure you use the code 5, F-I-V-E, so that way they will double your initial deposit. That's Prize Picks, either online at prizepicks.com, or you can download the free Prize Picks app wherever you get all your favorite apps. And thank you again to my producer, Manny Chang, who, again, doing an amazing job putting everything on the screen for you. But okay, I would love to continue talking about how good these Panthers are, and I'm going to, but I'm going to do it with a great voice of hockey, somebody who in Finland knows this sport better than most. As I mentioned before, you heard him on the call for the Panthers Red Wings game on Sunday. His call of Anton Lundell's shorthanded goal was one of the best things I've heard in a hockey broadcast in so long, because he was so happy by what he saw that all he could do was just break out in laughter. It was amazing. So let's bring on award-winning Finnish play-by-play broadcaster Antti Mäkinen to join the show. Antti, first off, thank you for joining me, because I feel like I reached out to you on very short notice, trying to get in touch with you, and you were so quick to get back to me. So thank you for that, and welcome to the show. I really appreciate you joining me.
Thank you, David. It's easy for me because my kids are inside there eating their meal there with my wife, so I can escape outside here and talk hockey with you. It's the best way for me.
Oh, well, you're welcome then, for the excuse to break away and talk a little hockey for a minute.
Yeah.
The first thing I want to talk about, Sunday's game. I mean, I'm guessing the Panthers get a bit more attention in Finland because they've got a lot of Finns on the team, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But Sunday's game, Panthers at Detroit, not super exciting. The Panthers have been so good. But when I came across your call on Twitter, I was blown away. I've done play-by-play before, so I get how you can get caught up in the moment. I can't play it on the show because I don't want to, with copyright issues, I don't want this to get taken down. I've got it pinned on my Twitter account at Dwork for anybody that wants to hear it. But just tell me, like, as you're kind of watching that develop, going through your mind, like, how just awesome was that to see? Because all I could hear in your voice was the laughter.
Yeah, but it's the best thing to do when you're watching Sasha Barkov playing hockey. You can just laugh because he's so ridiculously good player, and I know him very well since he was a small boy back here in Tampere, Finland. So it's a bit weird to see him growing one of the best players in the whole National Hockey League, maybe the best centerman there is in the whole wide world, doing that stuff that he's doing on those games. And the game on Sunday, it was like testament game for Barkov when they ended up after the first period, it was scoreless. And I know how he thinks about the game. He wants each and every game that his team is up to the task, doing their thing. And what they needed to do against Red Wings, they started doing in the second period, and it was just one team on the ice at that time, and they beat the Red Wings with both hands and nothing. There was it was ridiculous, and the goal itself. It's funny about my calls because it's in Finnish language, and nobody knows Finnish language. It's the hardest language in the whole world. so on my career, I've been covering the NHL the past 14 seasons. Yeah, there's if I say 10 plus calls that has going viral in the States, which I've done. And this is one of those things. But actually, I didn't even push myself in this one because I just started to laugh. And I said in the Finnish language, I said there that it's not allowed for the kids. It's not allowed for the kids to watch this because it's so.
That's great. Send the kids out of the room. Sasha Barkov's playing hockey.
Yeah. It's so dirty. It's so dirty.
It was great. Like just watching the play develop and how he finds the time to look over his shoulder and quickly find Lundell while, warding off another player. I think it was Maurice Sider, if I'm not mistaken. And then to have the wherewithal to dump the puck between your legs. And then Anton Lundell, to his credit, like he still had to make a move and get it past Alex Nedeljkovic, the goaltender for Detroit. Just a spectacular effort, but something we've seen a lot here with the Panthers in South Florida, and you've probably seen a lot this year as well.
Yeah, and it's a great piece of Sasha's game because we know that it's a pretty hard thing to play hockey in the NHL. The speed is so ridiculous, but you can see at that game that a specific game there, Sasha doesn't have any hurry. He's so powerful, so smooth skater, such a brilliant hockey player. So there's no hurry at his doing on the ice, and it's ridiculous what he's doing there.
Yeah, what really impresses me about Sasha, I mean, he's a magician with the puck on his stick. It's almost like there's a magnet, the way he's able to maintain possession. But a big part of that is his strength. Like, we've seen him down here now for a long time. We've seen him grow from a teenager to a grown man. And he's a big, strong man. And that play is a perfect example because, as you said, he's not rushing with the puck. He knows he can use his strength to ward off the defender, to hang on to the puck, and to make, what happened happen. It's just been amazing watching him grow into the player he's become. And that play perfectly encompasses it.
Yeah, but it's. I was there in December, spending a week in his house, staying with Sasha there. And he was injured at that time. He didn't play the games with the Panthers on that week. And one morning, it was Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, on Saturday. Let's say it was 19th or something like that. Shash was injured. He didn't play, and he woke up before 7 a.m. and started pouring some coffee. And I woke up also and went downstairs asking, "What the heck are you doing already up? You're not training with the guys. Where do you have where's the hurry here?" And he answered me back that he wants to go to the rink, help the chefs doing breakfast for the guys that they can practice. And that's the team captain of the Panthers doing breakfast for the guys. They're having chefs there, but he wants to go there to help making the breakfast for the guys so they can practice a good practice. And that's the captain.
That's ridiculous. Like that's something that I've never heard.
Yeah,
in terms of behind the scenes back here. Yeah. I mean, we hear a lot about what they do for each other and how this team is very close. It's a very tight knit group, but I mean,
it is.
He's going early when he's injured to help the chefs cook breakfast.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I guess that says a lot about the kind of person he is, not just hockey player, but this amazing, because he's so quiet. People maybe that don't spend time with him don't know him that well.
Yeah.
But what an amazing person.
I'm sending him messages when he scores a goal and he lifts his hands over his shoulder, because he's normally not celebrating a goal, but on this season there is a couple of these. I have to sending him as a message: don't lift your hands that high.
Now in Finland, I mean, obviously hockey is the sport. Like hockey is huge in Finland, and obviously I'm sure you guys are absolutely on cloud nine right now after what happened with the Olympics, and there's a lot of amazing Finns in the NHL. But just how big is Sasha Barkov in Finland, considering he plays here in the United States? But how just in terms of commercials or advertising, like is he like the big Finnish star there?
Yeah, nowadays he is. I would say still Patrick Laine is the biggest hockey name in Finland, because it doesn't matter what Patrick Laine does, it's always on the headlines. He scores, he's not scoring, he's buying a new car, he's doing whatever.
His fashion looks are great.
Wearing those fancy clothes. Yeah. It's always headlines. Patrick Laine, this and that and blah, blah, blah. Shassa is a quiet person. He doesn't go with the headlines. But nowadays, he himself Shassa said to me that now he's 26 and he's getting mature and he thinks that he's an adult nowadays. So he thinks differently than he did like 4 years ago. And he understands that he needs to grow that sport also here to do those little things and marketing hockey and stuff like that. And like he said, he's grown up now, and he knows how to think about hockey outside of the rink.
Yeah, I mean, he's reached back a lot over there over the last few years. I mean, he goes home every summer to train, but he also recently purchased, was it the Tapara in Liga, his hometown team. So, and, training with the team, being involved with the team. So that's a big part, when you were saying that, I'm thinking, well, that shows, in his actions that he's reaching back across and kind of helping to make that bridge go there. It's important, I think. And we talk a lot about it over here, just how we want to make hockey more inclusive. And that's not just for different genders and different orientations and different colors, but it's also different nationalities. Like, it's broadening the game for everyone. So I think that's, well, it's not as, obviously talked about as much. It's not as hot button of a topic. It's still important in terms of growing the game. And it's great to see Sasha taking that on his shoulders as well, because he's got so much going on here in South Florida.
Yeah. And such a great model for everyone.
Yeah. He's definitely a lead by example guy. And in terms of leading by example and leading the next generation, I want to ask you about another younger Finn that's playing here in the Panthers, and that's Anton Lundell, who was also on the receiving end of your call from the other day. But Lundell, 20 years old, really, you think of guys like maybe Sebastian Aho or even Patrick Laine, when they first broke into the league, having that kind of an impact. I don't think we were expecting him to be as good as he's been this season as a rookie in the NHL.
He was already established player when he left here, but the best part of Anton Lundell is, like Sasha says it best. I asked Sasha, what's the best part of Anton? And Sasha answered me back, he's always questioning stuff. All the dumb stuffs, he's always asking questions. And Sasha said that in his words, he said that he never thinks about being a prime model for some player, but he recognized that he can help Anton. And Anton is always asking and learning things. And Sasha said that he's a quick learner. And when I'm looking at Anton's game, he is a quick learner. He's adapted the NHL game so fast that he surprised everyone.
Well, it makes sense that maybe Barkov sees a little bit of himself in Lundell. Obviously they're both in the same country. They both played in Liga before coming to the NHL. They both came to the NHL as teenagers. And fortunately for Lundell, when he came, he was able to actually live with Sasha. He had, a countryman, a teammate to kind of help him along. So it's great to see, because their games also mirror each other a lot.
Yeah,
obviously Lundell's got to grow into his body a bit like Barkov did, but in terms of the vision, the puck possession, just the creativity and the responsibility of the 200-foot game, they're very similar.
At the age of 20, Anton Lundell is a better player than Alexander Barkov was as 20 years old.
That's a bold statement, considering how good Barkov is now as a 26-year-old.
Yeah.
So the Panthers may have really hit a home run with Anton Lundell. Maybe perhaps he'll be even better than Sasha Barkov. That's what you think could happen?
No, I'm not going to say he's going to be better than Sasha, but he'll be around there.
That'd be pretty I mean, Barkov is a very special player. It'll be cool to see Lundell grow into it. It's been great just to watch him this season and talking to him, because Barkov, he's still very quiet, but the first couple of years he was here, as he was learning English, he was much more, kept to himself. We've seen him now kind of get looser and have a little bit more fun, at least with the media. But what Lundell, he came and he was cracking jokes right away, and he just seemed to, maybe a little bit more comfortable in that setting, or maybe just because he knows English a little bit better.
This one story stayed in my mind when I was there. I was talking with Steve Goldstein, a friend of mine who's the play-by-play guy for the Panthers. And Steve told me this story about years ago when Sasha came to the Panthers organization, that he asked in the locker room from Thomas Fleischmann what kind of player Sasha is. And Thomas Fleischmann answered back, he's Joe Thornton with better hands and better shot. And that's quite accurate.
Yeah. And now they're playing together on the same team.
Yeah.
So in terms of Finnish hockey, I do want to talk to you a little bit about it, just because I think in the league we're seeing more and more, maybe not more and more, I guess, because there have always been great Finnish players in the NHL, but just the younger guys that we're seeing come in and younger and younger. I mean, right now, born after the year 2000 are like Anton Lundell, I think Capo Kakko, Jesperi Kakaniemi is another one, and then even right before then, a little bit older, but I mean like Laine and Barkov obviously, but Sebastian Aho, Rope Hintz, Mikko Rantanen. It's really pretty amazing how
Miro
many young
Heiskanen and Mikko Lundell. We can go on.
Yeah, it's also the Finnish hockey school has really kind of taken another step lately, and the NHL is benefiting from it greatly.
Yeah, there's a lot of players. Like when I started doing work with the NHL, there was like 28 NHL players coming out of Finland, and now we're reaching on this season, I think it's 57 or 58 players. So it's more than doubled in 10 years, and that's just not the case that there are more players coming out of Finland. They are quality players playing in top lines in their teams, and that's if we put down like 24 World Cup, if we're having that in Vegas, I hope. I'm so anxious to see the team Finland there.
Yeah, well, especially after what we saw in the Olympics this year. I mean, you would expect them to put together a pretty amazing team. We haven't even talked about the goaltending. I'm a goalie. I'm always biased about goaltenders. I try not to let it overwhelm the conversation, but I mean, even right now, there are some very, very good Finnish goaltenders in the league. I think UC Saros is ridiculously good. I love Jonas Korpisalo. Antti Ranta has been one of my favorites for the last few years. There are some really good Finnish goaltenders.
And Ville Husso is doing a great job in St. Louis. He's competing from the number one spot with Jordan Binnington. He's actually winning it.
I think he's the starter right now.
Yeah, he's the starter right now. So we have those guys, but we have a little bit issues about the upcoming goalies in future years from Finland. But I'm pretty certain that we have a couple of guys coming up from here.
We got UPL in Buffalo.
Yeah, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Yeah.
Yes, Ukko-Pekka
very easy
Luukkonen.
Finnish, very easy Finnish name.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like John Smith in America. It's no problem. But no, I like watching him in Buffalo at the end of last season. I was hoping that we'd see a little bit more of him, but maybe better for his development that he stayed out of Buffalo this year and kind of honed his skills elsewhere. Like we've seen here with Spencer Knight, how a little bit of time and seasoning at a lower level can really help build your confidence and get you ready. But just overall, just kind of to wrap up our conversation about the Finnish hockey school, I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I think, while maybe a little surprising, the Olympics were a great precursor to things that are hopefully to come for the Finns.
Yeah, we'll see. I really hope that we're going to getting to the World Cup on 24 to see those. So teams, Team Canada, Team USA, Team Finland, Team Sweden, those big household names playing each other. That would be a great tournament, and well, we just have to wait to see how it goes. But I was just looking at Luostarinen, and I went back to his journey becoming a Panthers player, and it fancies me that he's the only one who's left out of the trade with Carolina Hurricanes, which sent Vincent Trocheck to Carolina Hurricanes. And if you put in that category, it's like Eetu Luostarinen to Vincent Trocheck.
Yeah, no, it's and that trade, funnily enough, like it was Trocheck that was like the big part of that trade because the Panthers, I believe it was Erik Haula, another Finnish player.
Yeah.
And
Lucas Wallmark, Sweden. Yeah.
So they both moved on, and the Panthers instead, Eetu Luostarinen, who's been spectacular this year. Yeah. He's really grown into a great 200-foot player. He's solidified that Panthers bottom line. And also they got defenseman Chase Christie, who is working his way up in the Panthers American League as well. South Florida native, I might add.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to ask you about was the Finns on the Panthers, aside from Barkov and Lundell, because you've got Petteri Lindbom, who was on the Olympic team, who's been a great addition here down the stretch. You've got Eetu Luostarinen and also Markus Nutavara, who we were hoping to see this year. It looks like maybe his injury might keep him out of the lineup into the playoffs, which is unfortunate. But there's a lot of Finnish footprint here in the Panthers. And obviously it starts with Bill Zito, who
Of course.
spent a lot of time over there.
Yeah, Mr. Zito, he knows Finnish players, and he knows the quality about Finnish players. If you hire a Finnish player, you know that you can count on him, and that's what says in our passports. So it's pretty easy to have a Finnish player because it's a guarantee that he will make the job what he's required there. Like Petteri Lindblom is a great example. He doesn't keep any voice about himself, but he goes in the lineup, sitting in the third pair, tossing the puck out of the glass and doing those basic things. Nothing fancy, but doing those basic things, and you can count on him that he's not leaking.
Yeah, no, that's what, as I said, he's been very steady. Like the Panthers' depth this year has kind of been amazing.
It's insane. It's insane.
Even with Aaron Ekblad out, who they'll hopefully get back at the start of the playoffs. But yes, like Lindblom has been steady. He's not flashy, but he's also not hurting the team when he's out there, which I think is what you're looking for.
And think about the playoffs first round. Now that Pittsburgh has some issues with Tristan Cherry, who's I spoke with Frank Seravalli, who worked for TSN and now is in Daily Faceoff. Yep. And Frank told me this rumor that Tristan Cherry has a broken bone in his leg. So if it's week to week and he's broken bone in his leg, and they're starting first round, I'm guessing they're starting first round against Panthers because Capitals are going so strong at the moment. Yeah, they're gathering points. So if Panthers are starting the playoffs against Penguins without Tristan Cherry, it's like a free ticket to the second round. Sorry, Casey Smith and those guys, but they are not. Those guys, Casey DeSmith and Louis Domingue, they are not good enough goalies to keep Penguins on the table.
Yeah, it's the worst thing you've got to think for a team that loses their goalie to have to face the top scoring team in the NHL in the first round. So.
And that's the good news with the Panthers. Now Spencer Knight playing great games and earning some minutes. I'm certain that Sergei Bobrovsky will be at his best when the playoff starts.
Well, I hope so. His last few starts have been much better. He stumbled a little bit earlier this month, but he, like with Bob, high highs and low lows is kind of like been the theme. So hopefully, this is a guy. He's a money goalie. He's won in the playoffs. He's won Vezina Trophy. So hopefully he rounds into that. I didn't want to get through this interview without talking about Olli Jokinen. I know we're kind of out of time right now. And I don't want to keep you too much longer. I just do want to mention, in terms of hardworking Finns, and a beloved Finn down here for the Panthers, but also pretty amazing what he did with Mikkeli in Liga this year. Like
unreal.
taking a team that was like kind of like the Panthers for a long time that had never done anything and having them as one of the best teams in Liga. Like, what a story. And I'm so happy for Olli in his first year as a head coach.
Yeah, it was so spectacular what he did there. He was the head coach of Mikkelin Jukurit, the team that never have won anything, never gained a playoff position or nothing. And he went there, and some of the guys laughed at here that they are hiring Olli Jokinen, a former NHL player. What does he know about coaching? And I was so happy about OJ that he showed up and did what he did with the team. So he established himself as a head coach, and I'm saying it's just a matter of time before he becomes a coach or even a head coach in the NHL. Now you have Tuomo Ruutu there, former Finnish player with assistant coach on your team, and Tuomo is also doing tremendous job with Andrew Brunette's team and coaching staff. So that's one position where we haven't used to seeing European guys being a head coaches or at least even assistant coaches. There's just few of those guys being the last 10 years. Even from Finland, we haven't had those guys. Now we're having Tuomo there, and I'm pretty sure that OJ will come over there in a couple of years.
The Finnish players are starting to take over on the ice, and so now they're going to move on to the bench and just full takeover.
If somebody can argue with me, but I can tell you that we have the best hockey coaches in the world.
No, I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to enjoy the good hockey. But Antti, I want to thank you so much for taking some time and really sharing your knowledge with us. I really appreciate it. And I hate to tell you, but I will be keeping in touch.
Hey, so, thank you, David. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Awesome, man. Take care of yourself.
Hey, see ya.
Yep. And again, awesome. I had a good feeling that it was going to be a great chat. I'm going to have to go back and watch that later, just as there was so much great info about our Finnish Panthers players. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of the Odd Man Rush, brought to you by Prize Picks. And again, a huge thank you to Antti Mäkinen. What a great interview. What a great guest. And there's the call there of his goal. And you know what, Manny, if you want, you can go ahead and play it if you think it's safe. Let's listen to it real quick.
Outsider 20, Lukas Raymond 18. Valpe Susi täällä, Dylan Larkin molemmat 13 pistettä, sieltä tulee Markku alivoimalla. Tämä on kiellettyä, lapsi!
Unreal. And thank you for letting it roll, because what I really liked is, and I should have mentioned this before, but he cracks up when the play happens live. And then when he sees the replay for the first time, he can't help but laugh again. So great. That's definitely going to stick with me for a while. And again, thank you to Antti Mäkinen for joining me. And also thank you to Manny Chang, my spectacularly amazing producer, who works so hard but does such a great job of getting the show on the air, getting all the elements out there for you, making sure everything streams without a hitch. So thank you to Manny. And thank you to everybody who's watching, everybody who's commenting, who reaches out to me on Twitter. I really appreciate all the interactions and all the insights and your eyes and ears. So thank you to everybody. Until next time, I'm David Dwork. I hope you all have a great week. I hope the Panthers continue winning. And we will see you next time on the Odd Man Rush. So until then, take care of yourselves. And as always, stay cool.